Welcome back to Young Trip Reactions. The first video we're going to do is I'm 50 and lonely. Need more men and friends in my life. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Trip family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have anything personal going on that you want me to help you bring more awareness to, or bring more awareness to it, or, be like an activist to jump in with other activists that you may have on it, similar to like Ben Crump, or somebody like that. And you want me to get into it as well too, to bring more attention to whatever the situation is. If you had your rights violated by law enforcement, police misjustice, or anything like that, send me a direct message over on Instagram, and we can talk about that over there. Also, make sure you come follow me over on Instagram because I post over there as well too. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Trip family, and let's get into this.
I'm going to get really vulnerable and really honest with you guys and share. I'm going to get really vulnerable and really honest with you guys and share something that's a little bit embarrassing, because I just have a feeling that so many other women in midlife, and men too, are feeling exactly like I'm feeling and going through what I'm going through right now. And maybe we can all commiserate together. I have never been more lonely in my entire life. I'm 51 years old. I do not work outside the home, so I don't get to go to an office every day and see people. My husband works and then does catering on the side, so he's gone a lot.
So she does have a husband. She's not like single alone. She just feels alone. Okay. Let's continue.
I have one kid left and see people. My husband works and then does catering on the side, so he's gone a lot. I have one kid left at home for another 2 months before she goes off to college.
So you have one kid still left at home until she goes off to college in August. Okay. Let's continue.
And she on the side, so he's gone a lot. I have one kid left at home for another 2 months before she goes off to college, and she works and is with friends 99% of the time. The other 1%, she's in a room. My other two kids don't live at home anymore, and I don't have any friends right now. That's embarrassing for me to admit. I had two really good friends, and over the last month, both of those friendships have just kind of disappeared. And
so what happened to other friends? I'm sure in your life you didn't just meet two people. When you went to school, you didn't meet two people. When you went to college, if you did, you didn't meet two people. Jobs that you worked at that have turned into where you've met people and they've turned into friends. You didn't just meet two people. And life. Are you a friendly person? Are you a good person? Are you a person that people would want to be friends with? Do you have a sense of humor? All of those types of things matter as well too. Because men, knowing that she has a husband, men, if they like something about you, they, because we're the ones that approach, we're the ones that ask out, we're the ones that do all that, and women decides to give an answer, right? So obviously there's something that somebody saw in you to marry you. Or did you lose your sense of humor and lose everything within yourself after getting married? and your friends just went off and did other things and was just like, well, it seems like she's always busy every time we ask her to come kick it, and she's never available. I mean, I would stop asking somebody that as well, too, if they're never available. So people don't just wake up in the morning and just say, well, I guess where me and that person just aren't friends anymore. Usually something has to happen. Something has to change about you. I know also people grow apart. Friends go in different directions. Same thing like with relationships. So the same thing with friends. You may grow apart or different things like that. As you become an adult, you meet new friends and all that. So, I mean, I get all that because that happens with everybody. But you haven't made any adult friends, stayed in touch with some friends from school or anything like that to claim you don't have any friends. Like I said, you must have some form of a personality or whatnot for somebody to date you and then marry you, unless all of that like disappeared or something. But I also know, like I said, us men, if we like find you attractive or anything like that, or find your personality cool or whatever, we will rock with you. And there's, different types. There's nerd types. There's, street smart type. There's average, everyday, blue collared guy. I don't know what type of guy she has. But all of that, all is a factor into what in the world has happened to why, you didn't had all these kids. They didn't grow up. Your last kid is about to, walk out the door, get ready to go to college and start her form of life outside of high school. And it's like you don't have a sense of your own life anymore, but your daughter is even building her own life. Your other children are building their own lives, and your husband is still continuing his life. I mean, I don't know. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. Let's continue.
I don't know why. Over the last month, both of those friendships have just kind of disappeared, and I don't know why. One of the people lives out of town. The other one lives in town.
I know there's an advertisement when I wanted to pause real quick as well, too. So one of your friends still lives in town, and the other one has moved out of town. So we understand why the other friend, you may not see her so much because she lives out of town. But what about the friend that's in town? That's what we need to hear more about regarding that. Let's continue.
One simple change.
Let's try to skip
when
the
filling out
advertisement.
your FAFSA to cut your EFC and SAI in half.
Can't skip it
so
right now.
So you can
Hold
pay
on.
for your kids' college without taking out loans.
Try now.
I'm Mike Escobar from...
They have both one of the people lives out of town. The other one lives in town. They have both kind of ghosted me and my whole family recently.
So they've ghosted you and your whole family. Friends usually don't do that unless they have a reason to. Like, I have friends that I don't talk as much to as other friends that I went to school with, right? But if I pick up the phone and call them, as long as their number is the same, they're going to answer. And if their number is not the same, I can get on social media, hit them up, get their new number, also talk to them on social media, see how they doing, all that. Yeah, I don't know what in the world happened. You're talking they ghosted you. That would just mean they just up and just disappeared and stopped talking to you altogether. Because obviously I don't know what you could have done to them. I have the slightest idea. You got to be able to tell us that. Because friends don't just get up and disappear. Usually it's because you did something, said something, gossiping too much. I really don't know. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. Let's continue.
One of the people lives out of town. The other one lives in town. They have both kind of ghosted me and my whole family recently. Not sure what's going on there. I'm really lonely. I live in the same town that I've lived in for 20 years. For the majority of that time, I had a very, very toxic and emotionally abusive friendship. And
Emotionally abusive friendships. So that would also mean you need to evaluate who your friends are if you feel that your friends were abusive or emotionally, physically, or anything like that. That's for you to evaluate. For you to evaluate amongst yourself, talk to your family, talk to your husband, your siblings, parents, if they're still alive, all of that. To evaluate all that. If you feel that way, that your friends are abusive. But obviously, we only hearing your side, because I'm sure your friends, they have a side to all this too, on why they're not talking to you, why they're not dealing with you, and all that. As we all do. You know? I have a friend that I was real cool with, who went to school with me. She was best friends with my ex-fiance when we went to school, as we grew up from elementary all the way through high school. But my ex-fiance had a history of gossiping a lot. And, you know, with me being her boyfriend, always trying to drag me into her issues with her best friend. And the young lady that I'm referring to, like, she hardly even talks to me anymore. But I know it's because of the situation with my ex-fiance. I know it's because of the whole situation about my ex-fiance always, gossiping about her or feeling some type of way about her and never talking to her as a best friend about, hey, I don't appreciate this, I don't like this or that, or so forth and so forth. Instead of my ex-fiance talking to her, my ex-fiance will be talking to me, all of my homies, because my ex-fiance, especially back in school, was very tomboyish. And she would always be talking to us, and we would listen to her, but we also would say, go talk to our friend, right? But obviously, instead of her doing that, she would just gossip about her. And we would say, like, we would just obviously try to tell her we don't really want to hear about it. But obviously, she would always want me to listen, because it would be like, you're my boyfriend, listen to me. It was like, okay, whatever. So I would always just listen to her talk. And my friend, she didn't really, because the story, obviously, my ex-fiance is feeding me, whatever would, cause me to be able to be like, well, maybe it is true what she said or whatever. Because I want to believe her because I'm dating her, right? As anybody would, right? And obviously, my other, the person that's our friend, it would get back to her, well, such and such is telling young Trip, blah, 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 blah. And then my friend would come to me, well, is she telling you this and this and this and this and this? And they'll be like, I really don't want to be involved. Yeah, she's saying this. Oh, please, and me being 15, 16, 17, 14 at the time, didn't hardly even knowing what to really tell her, right? But I think she knew that, like, oh, he really believes her or whatever. And because of all that, that particular friend hardly really even talks to me. But I know why. And that's why I say this woman, she knows why her friends don't talk to her. Don't act like you don't know. You know, just like I know why my other friend, why she hardly talks to me. I know why. Because of all the stuff that, oh, he believes everything that she said, and he doesn't believe anything I'm saying. I know you're dating her, but we're also friends and you should be able to listen to it from both sides, which I did listen a bit to her side, but obviously she knew where my loyalty lied because of me dating the chick that I was dating, right? So she knew that she wasn't really going to win it. And that's why, really it kind of messed up even our friendship because of all that as well. So I know that, she knows that, my ex-fiance knows that, this lady knows exactly what's going on with her friends and why they're not talking to her. Period, plain blank. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Trip family, and let's continue.
Because of that, at that time, I had a very, very toxic and emotionally abusive friendship. And because of that, I did not have a lot of friends outside of that friend and her friend group. So when I was finally able to shut the door on that friendship and walk away from it, which is the best decision I ever made, it left me with no friends.
Yo, y'all got to get out.
So, yeah, you closed, because you feeling that she was abusive and all this other stuff. You closed the door on that friendship, and good for you. But yeah, as Anton is ready to get into it, as I'm getting ready to say the same thing, you got to get out there and meet more people. Since you work from home, maybe get a second job where you work with people. So then you can meet more people, to meet more friends, to meet new friends, since you don't have any friends. You should get out and meet people so then you can actually have friends. And not just have your work from home job sitting at home trying to make your husband your friend, your children your friend. No. You got to get out there so you can meet actual friends. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. Let's continue.
Y'all got to be a lot.
To shut the door on that friendship and walk away from it, which is the best decision I ever made, it left me with no friends.
Yo, y'all got to get out and y'all got to be a lot more social. This is another reason why it's important for y'all to work outside of the home. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like the suggestion that I make when I say, yo, you need to actually go to work, because for a lot of people, traditionally, long term, even before social media, working outside of the home was a form of social, being social and meeting new people and friends. And that's why a lot of people's identity was tied up in what they did for a living, right? Especially, with my experience. And again, I think that I grew up in a golden age where I was able to see life outside of social media. We didn't have computers. We didn't have social media to the extent that we have it now. And you hung out. You went to the bar, even after work a lot of times. And, being out and about and going to lunch and stuff. And so working from home, I think personally, has truly crippled a lot of people's perspectives and views towards life, and it's isolated them. I know for me, my personal mental health, and that's the reason why I actually come into the studio every day. This background and stuff is actually a studio where I have multiple different places that I can record and things like that, and live stream and do interviews and everything. Being at the studio and getting outside and getting fresh air and meeting people and being in the city and stuff has reinvigorated my desire for success, and it makes you more social when you get out and you interact with people and you meet new people and friends and all of that. And that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy being by myself, but what it does mean is that I'm not isolated with my own thoughts alone, to where you then crave other people, because we are social creatures, right? We need companionship. Even in prison, a lot of times you hear about people that would prefer to be in general population versus being in isolation, and they go crazy by themselves because we're not necessarily meant to be alone. And again, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy being by yourself, but we are social creatures.
In a town that I've lived in for 20 years, you would think I would just have a ton of friends in this town, but I don't. And I feel like at this stage, everyone already has their group. And I know people are going to say, like, oh, that's not true, blah, blah. It is true. I live in a small town. Like, I'm not going to be able to break into any of these friend groups. I already know that. So I'm lonely. And I never thought...
negative mentality usually carries with you in real life, and you start to feel that, and you see it on a person. And that's another reason why they can't break into these groups.
Advertiser, yeah.
I never thought at 50...
And that's another reason why they can't break into these groups.
I never thought at 51 that I would feel this lonely. And I'm really hoping that I don't have to spend...
If I was her husband and I seen this online, I would be like, what the F are you doing? This is not a conversation that we need to be having on social media, and you're embarrassing me.
The rest of my life as lonely as I feel right now. I've never been a person who's had a ton of friends, but I have never wanted friends more than I do now. But not just like the shallow friendships. I want true, like, emotional connection friends. I do have two of my best friends from high school that are still in my life, but they don't live here. And so it's not the same. I don't have any friends here locally that I can see.
She also needs to take some trips. I agree with Anton. And so it's like you're saying you don't have no friends. Then you have two friends that you don't really see because one still lives in town, but then you claim that, you know, she abuses you or whatever, so you don't talk to her anymore. Another friend lives out of town. Then you claim another friend lives out of town. So what? You got 3-4 friends. 2 of them live out of town. 1 lives in town. 1 you got rid of. So now you have like 3 friends left. Okay, I mean, I know a lot of people who have 3 friends. I mean, my circle of friends is not that huge. And usually the more friends you have, the harder it is to scoop out the ones that are bad, that are fake, that aren't really your friends, who are just there to watch your downfall. And you have to know which friends those are. And it's harder to know that the more friends you have, the more popular you are, the harder it is to know which ones is actually the good ones. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. Let's continue.
On a regular basis. 2 of my best friends from high school that are still in my life, but they don't live here. And so it's not the same. I don't have any friends here locally that I can see on a regular basis and go do stuff with.
Go into the office.
And with my husband gone a lot, I end up just being alone. And I do know that being alone and being lonely are 2 different things, and sometimes I love being alone. But lately I have found that for me, being alone means being lonely. And I'm lonely. Midlife for me is lonely. Can anybody relate?
It's just so sad.
Let me know.
So I'll admit, I am a little lonely lately. I don't know. I just am. I think I'm also like a little down or whatever. But I would love to meet somebody, but I don't feel like really putting forth the effort. I know that sounds bad. I went on Facebook dating a little bit today, and oh my God, it's terrible. I don't know how I ever met so many people on there. Like, I met a lot of nice guys, and some, like, were not for me, and some remained friends, and some, like, I was with for a little bit, and I liked, and some quality men that I'm still friends with. But, oh my God, it's just a mess. Like, my skits are not a lie. They're not at all.
Why isn't she able to pick one to settle down with, and that's the end of the conversation? I don't understand.
I'll admit, I'm kind of lonely. But I don't really feel like making the effort of going to sit at like a high-end bar restaurant, not like a bar. Like, I'm not talking about like a random bar, but like a nice like restaurant, like, I don't know, Ruth's Chris or STK at Disney Springs or something like nice, and sit there and just have a drink or dinner or whatever.
Well,
and
she's in
possibly
Orlando.
meet somebody that way. I just don't really feel like doing
I'm assuming.
that. So I need like the Kool-Aid man in the form of like a great guy to either come through my front door, or I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to meet someone. Or
You just think somebody just gonna come walking through your front door, ma'am? And I'm sure, as I can tell, you are older. You're not, and I can also tell from your voice a bit too, you're not some 18, 19, early 20-year-old woman. You are an established older woman that should know that a man's not going to fall from the ceiling like rainbows and gumdrops. You got to put yourself out there to be able to meet people, to be able to find a potential partner. Let's continue.
and this is going to sound weird, but I feel like doing
I'm assuming.
that. So I need like the Kool-Aid man in the form of like a great guy to either come through my front door, or I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to meet someone. Or, and this is going to sound weird, I kind of want to just be with someone I was with before, like, and just hang out and have a good time and do things together or whatever. I don't really feel like meeting somebody new either, unless they're going to be really great for me.
You got to put yourself out there when meeting new people and explore the options of new people. It's nothing wrong with also trying something again with somebody else that you used to talk to, but it's better to continue forward and meet new people and explore the options with new people, because you can meet all types of people and actually find someone if you actually put yourself out there. As they say, you never backtrack, you continue forward. The same thing, like, you may live in apartments for most of your teens and maybe early, middle adulthood, but by the time you're 40, if you lived in a townhouse at 30, you should be living in a house by 40. So you live in an apartment in your teens, early adulthood teens, if you choose to move out, 18, 19 years old, 20, 22 years old, and then maybe 23, 24, maybe 25, you may live in a townhouse, and then by the time and you may stay there for a while, and then by the time you hit about 30 or so, or late 30s, almost 40 now, maybe you could be moving into a house, a home. You supposed to always be progressing forward, not backtracking. Now, sometimes you have to backtrack. I'm not saying that. But in this type of case, we're talking about dating. You should continue forward. Now, if you remember somebody, or you and somebody are still deeply connected, then yeah, you can always try again with them. Absolutely. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Trip family. But you also want to make sure that relationship will not be the same as it was when you were in it. You want to make sure that it's going to progress and go forward as it should. Let's continue.
I don't know. I haven't dated since, like, just hang out and have a good time and do things together or whatever. I don't really feel like meeting somebody new either, unless they're going to be really great for me. I don't know. I haven't dated since like end of July last year. I just was having like a few bad dates, one after the other, just not clicking, not like bad dates, just like I didn't feel any chemistry or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just
They need
not.
to feel the butterflies.
I'm a little lonely, but I kind of just want someone I've been with before and kind of just someone to do things with, but that I am attracted to. Is that asking too much?
I'm 50 and I'm lonely. I went to dinner the other night with a group of friends, and while we had a really wonderful time, the whole time we were there, I felt like I was almost kind of floating above, watching it all happen and wondering, does anyone actually really see me? And this is not on the women that I was with. They are wonderful. This is just something I've been noticing about myself, that I'm probably lonely more often than I should be. One of my kids is doing an internship in Spain this summer. The other just graduated. He's working and spending all this time with his friends, so he's hardly ever at home, which is great. That's how it's supposed to go, but they just don't need me like they used to. I feel like at this stage in life too, all kinds of connections that I had like through the kids' schools and things like that, some of those are dying out. And it's not that I'm just sitting alone in a dark room or alone in my car like I am right now. It's that you just kind of feel invisible. It's like you hold it all together, you do all of the things, and you do wonder, does anyone really see me? Does anyone know me, get me? I find myself thinking all the time, like, who am I when I'm not needed in the same way? And honestly, I have no clue. I'm 50 and I really want to figure that out. But I wanted to at least start this conversation because if I'm lonely, I'm sure somebody else out there is lonely.
There are so many women, and this is so tripped out hearing this conversation, because there's a tale of two worlds. On one front, you'll hear a bunch of people say, well, you know, I'm trying to stay away from people because I want to be by myself and I don't like men and I prefer to die alone, right? And I prefer to have my cats. And on the flip side, you see a bunch of people saying that, man, I really want companionship. I want friends. I want a man. I want this. I want that. And I want more people in my life. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.
Skipping stones and skip.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of these women need to get out. They need to meet people, meet friends, put themselves out there, go on some trips. For the lady who has friends in other cities and stuff, go visit your friends. A lot of these women just need to get out there, knowing that their husbands are working and doing other things, knowing that your kids are now adults. They're not in high school. They're not in middle school. They're not in elementary anymore. And get out there and meet people. Certain friends grow apart, and you need to get out there and meet new friends. Relationships fall apart. Get out there and meet new people to date. All of that happens. And you need to be able to put yourself out there to meet more people. Let me know what you guys think. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in the link in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any violations of civil rights or anything involving the police, police misconduct or anything like that, that you want me to get involved in as an activist to be able to help you out. If you got a person involved like Ben Crump and it's a big story that's been on the news and all that you have going on, send me a direct message over on Instagram. We can talk about that over there. And, I can get some more awareness to your story to get it, farther out there. And also, make sure you come follow me over on Instagram because I post over there as well, too. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Trip family. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.